this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments, and I am bringing you another 2-page layout for my Hawaiian vacation. These are 2 very quick pages. They mainly have just a couple of borders, some journal boxes, and my photos, and they're going to be super fun. Come on and let me show you what's on my desktop. Okay, here we go. All right, here we are at my desktop. And what I have here are 2 of my natural pages that are going in this album. And I have 1 decorator sheet. It's this mottled, really pretty blue sheet that's got an even prettier blue or a different shade of blue on the back. And then I have one of the larger 4.5 by 6.5 mats with journal box lines on it. And I have 2 of our laser borders. You get one of each. You get one of these in each package of laser borders. I bought 2 packages of the laser borders so that I would have enough to do a 2-page spread with these. So these are really cool because they are double-sided, so you can use them, you know, with different color combinations. But I just really like the blue and the green and stuff like that. I think it goes together really, really nicely. Okay, so I'm also going to use the new circle punch that CM came out with, and we're going to also use the Creative Memories decorative trimmer. So if you have this, go ahead and grab it because we are going to need it. All right? So let me just set my pages aside for a second so that we can do some cutting and preparation. And running out of places to stack stuff. Okay, so I'm going to move these over here just for a second. We'll get to them eventually, and we'll get to this eventually also. For right now, I want you to concentrate on this one piece of paper that we're going to make our borders with. And we're going to use our decorative trimmer. We're going to use this, the more wavy of the 2 wavy blades. You notice this one is a little bit more of a relaxed wave. This one is the wavier of the 2. And the way that you tell which end of this trimmer is up is by the arm. When the arm goes out like that, this end is up. At least that's the way I tell. We're not going to need the arm though today necessarily, because right now what we're going to do is we're going to just trim the very edge. And one of the things you should know about this trimmer, if you don't already, is that the waves are centered if you look at your trimmer, but if you realize by the measurements that are across the top right here, you have 12.5 inches from the top bumper to the bottom bumper. What that means is that with a 12-inch sheet of paper, your wave is going to be off center if you push it to one shoulder or the other. And there are techniques that you want that offset, to be able to offset it like that. But for the purposes of what we're doing today, we don't want to offset it. So what we're going to do is we're going to center the paper so that we get our waves right in the middle. Okay? So what that means is that you're going to, rather than put it right up at the bumper, you're going to put it on the cutting line, or on the line just above where you can see that the blade is going to cut. And then you're going to put the bottom edge on the very first cube line and the top edge on the very first cube line. I hope that makes sense. So you can see that there's a grid on this paper. If I run my nail over it, you can hear it, that grid. So you're going to allow 1 cube down here and 1 cube up here between your paper, and line it up really carefully just beyond the cutting zone, or the cutting line. I always like to pull my blade towards me, so I'm just going to go ahead and put that first cut on the edge right there. Then I'm going to flip my paper over and I'm going to do the same thing again. but on this opposite edge. And it is a little bit tedious to get it lined up, but you'll be really glad that it is centered because it will look so much nicer. All right. So now that we have our edges on either side, we need to trim these so we can add one more edge. What I need to double check though is how much of an edge we need. So give me just a second here. I'm looking around for a scrap piece of paper that would be big enough. This one ought to be big enough. But I don't think I want to ruin that. Here, we'll use this. This will be good. I just want to see how big of a circle we're talking so that I know how wide to cut this. Okay, so it looks like a 2-inch cut would be about right, but let's go a little bit beyond 2 inches just to ensure that we have plenty of room. So we'll do 2 1/4. All right. So what we can do, we want to make sure that we have our curves facing each other. So we want an hourglass shape. Okay. So I want it to be 2 1/2 inches. So I've got a little black line here marked at 2 inches. And then you can see the 4-inch marker there. So I'm going to use this line in my trimmer right here in the arm as my guide. That's where I'm going to put the edge of my paper. I'm going to again have one square above and one square below. Making sure I have plenty of room. Okay, that'll be good. All right, now I'm gonna make sure my blade is all the way down, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that. Then I'm gonna flip this around and do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so we're gonna do 2 1/4, which is right at that groove. And just making sure my paper is straight, or as straight as I can make it. So that I get the same effect on both of the borders that I'm making. Okay. All right, there we go. Now, setting that paper aside and setting our trimmer aside because we are done with it, we're going to take these two borders and we're going to use our circle cutter and we're going to punch an open circle in each of these ovals. So, I think what would help me is to know how wide. Okay, so my punch is 3 inches wide. That means that I should be able to get 4 circles in a 12-inch pattern. What I'm going to do to help me guide my punch so that I'm punching in the right place is I'm going to just do some quick markings on my paper every 3 inches, so that I know approximately where I need to line up my punch, the edge of my punch. And I can easily erase these. I'm not making this dark, I'm just putting a tiny little line right in the center. every 3 inches. All right. Now I should be able to center my circle by doing that. So I'm going to push it all the way to the back. Make sure that line is right on the edge of my punch. Hold my breath and punch. All right, save your circles. You can probably use them for something else that would be fun and fanciful. Now see how this circle is just a little bit to the right? We could flip this over and punch it this time from the other side so that we get a similar lean, but to the opposite side. Because these are sort of going to look like bubbles. So bubbles are never line up along each other, so that's okay. We don't want them to be right on top of each other. So I'm just moving it back and forth from one side to the other, putting the very edge of the paper right at the edge of my punch for that last one. All right. So we're going to do the same thing with this one so that they match. So that one and this one both lean towards the same direction. So I'm just going to do them both at the same time. Then I'll turn this over. We'll do this one. So if any of you are interested, I'm going to try my hand at doing a live YouTube this coming Monday at 10 o'clock Mountain Time, which is going to be 8 a.m. Eastern Time. So if you'd like to tune in, that would be awesome. I'm joining forces with Catherine Skinner. She is another CM advisor who's become a good friend of mine, and she lives in New Mexico. I live in Utah, and we are going to do a live presentation. We're each going to do our own layouts for you, or our own projects, and it's going to be fun, and it will be an adventure. So I hope that you'll, if you're available. I know everybody has different schedules, and some of you work. So, but if you're free this Monday, tune in and join us for our live presentation. That would be awesome. All right, so I'm going to take, these are the photos I'm working with, and you can see they're kind of varied. These maps are not super interesting, so that's why I thought it would be fun to do a border that had a little more pizzazz. We're going to put this laser border underneath the bubbles and put that across the top. Okay, so we're just going to grab our repositionable adhesive, and I'm going to, let's see, I want to make sure I get this in the right place, so We're going to go about there. And just make sure that we get it straight. There we go. Where's the other one? Here it is. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put adhesive all the way down this one as well. Line up my pages so that I can line up my borders, keep them in the same place. That one went down and stayed down. All right, there we go. Put that across. Now we're going to do some permanent adhesive on this one. Also, if you're liking this video so far, I really hope you'll take a second, if you haven't done so already, and subscribe to my channel. That would really help me out if you would do that for me. Alright, so we're just going to adhere this right over top of our seaweed. It reminds me of seaweed. I don't know if that's really what it is, but it reminds me of seaweed. I feel like it's just kind of a cool design. Sea plants. And I'm going to just put my pages together again just so I can make sure that this border is in the same place and they're not super off, because that would be bad. I don't want them to, I want them to line up. I don't want them to be off kilter. Okay, there we go. All right, now I thought what I would do also is take this photo and mat it with this paper, because it's a favorite. I'm just going to center this on this page and then cut my mat around it. So probably go with about 1/4 inch. By doing that, I should have enough room that I can put this guy down here too. Yeah. These were our wheels. We drove a Chrysler for the 8 days that we were there, which was fun. Had a black interior, and I remember thinking, wow, black interior in Hawaii, it's going to be super hot inside. It wasn't. I was really pleasantly surprised. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut between these two, separate them, and I don't know if I like that ruffly edge on that one, but I had planned to go ahead and cut or trim off this ruffly edge on this one so that I might have that for another project. Save those. Got those. I think I might just go ahead and trim this too. Although there won't be as much of a wave on this one, so I don't know if we'll save that or not, but that's okay. I think it looks nicer to trim those. All right. And the other thing I need to do is go ahead and cut this in half. So this is 6.5 inches. That means that half would be 3 1/4. So I'm just going to cut that straight down the middle so I have 2 different journal boxes. And I'll show you why in just a second. All right. So let's go ahead and get these photos adhered. Actually, 1 minute, sorry. I'm gonna need to trim this guy because he's super big and I don't need all that wood grain in there. So let's just trim it off, shall we? I can hear you. We shall, we shall. It's just taking up space on my page. It's not interesting. It's not what I want to see, so I'm gonna get rid of it because I can. All right. So I don't want to trim it all off, just a bunch of it. I think I probably have enough adhesive on the back of that still. Oop. Hello. All right. I think I'm going to just sneak that right underneath our bubbles. I might move it over just a smidge. Maybe we'll have it kind of doing an over-under thing. All right, just gonna line it up with this other. I thought I was going to have a whole lot more room on this page. I think maybe because my border moved down. That's okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do some creative thinking. And I'm going to just tuck this guy up underneath there, kind of skiwampus-like. Let's just move him out here kind of to the edge. There. That works. Right? And we'll just make this guy a little bit more, a little less rigid, shall we say. Not all pages need to be exactly straight up and down. This is going to be one of those that's not, just because. All right. Now I wanted to add this guy in. So I would have a little bit of a place to write. I'm going to move it down just a little. There we go. That'll work. Now, there's no adhesive on the back of this guy, so my bad. We'll just add it now. There we go. Okay. Remember those pictures from the other day that I did where we're on the beach at sunset, and I did that huge picture of the big banyan tree that was on the property where we were staying. This walk was at the same time, and we had gone down to the beach, and then we went and we got some ice cream because we were on vacation, right? Got some ice cream, and then on our way back we encountered this woman who drove up in a little cart, and she pointed at my legs and started laughing and got super excited, and she said something, but I didn't quite understand what she was saying, and she sped off, and we thought, that was kind of weird. And just a couple minutes later, this woman, who I'm sorry I didn't get a picture of her face, but she rolled up in her little scooter, and she said, sure enough, she said, you do have legs just like me. So I don't know, I can't remember if I have said anything to anybody on my channel, but I've been dealing with a condition called venous inefficiency in my legs. And so the doctors have had me wearing neoprene wraps on my legs to help keep the blood from pooling in my feet, and my feet from swelling, and my legs from swelling. And she got so excited because she said she had the same thing, and she was riding in this scooter. So we took a picture of the scooter because you can actually rent scooters while you're over there. If you are lacking mobility and you need a little assistance, you can rent these scooters, which was really fun. And we weren't sure if I was going to actually need one, so I took a quick picture of her scooter so we would have the phone number to be able to call. At any rate, fun times had by all. All right, so and then I was going to use this guy because I thought he was kind of cool. Maybe I need to just kind of move him over, lean this a different direction. Or maybe not have these three things here together at all. Goodness, that's not going together the way I had hoped it would. Maybe we'll just kind of lean it like that. Maybe. And then I had this little plant thing, And the starry night because the sun was setting already. And it was later than it felt. And I don't know if we're going to do, I don't think I'm going to do any other additional embellishments besides those. So I'm going to journal about the lady coming, and this picture was because all the trees were beautiful and lit up, which was really neat. And then this is our car we rented, and then this is the cool map that we got from Pearl Harbor's MWR people. If you're familiar with military terms, the Morale, Welfare, and Recreation folks helped us out with that, which was really nice. And it was cool because it told us exactly how long it would take to drive to all the major points of interest on the island, which was very helpful because we spent a lot of time on the north shore, or that end of the island, and without knowing approximately how long it would have taken us to get there, it would have really wasted a lot of our time, and we would not have gotten places in a timely manner because it takes a lot longer than you might expect to traverse Oahu, we learned. So anyway, we're going to put that little crabby dude right there, and then going to add in the starry sky. And these cool boggy plants. What are those? Whippoorwillows? No. What are those? I don't remember. Sorry. Someone will tell me. Won't you, ladies? It'll come to me in the shower tomorrow. Okay. I think that about does it for this layout. What do you think? I think it turned out pretty well. Aside from the glare on the photographs on this side again. There we go. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you have had fun putting this together or watching me put it together. I hope it will inspire you to put something similar together for your albums. And until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Thanks so much. Have a great day.